Hey everyone, it's Rob here. I've just been asked to share with you just some teaching that I shared about evangelism with Adam's eldership team in Kingsgate. Firstly, I'm just going to give you 9 observations about evangelism from the book of Acts. So I count that there are 37 instances of evangelism described in the book of Acts. We value being New Testament pattern churches, don't we? And so for us, it's not just history. We expect the book of Acts to be instructive. And here are my 9 observations. I'm just going to give you the headings. Number 1, they went to the people. Number 2, the people came to them. Number 3, the apostles had a very important role. Number 4, the other believers had an important role. Number 5, signs and wonders played an important role. Number 6, persecution played an important role. Number 7, sometimes people responded quickly to the gospel. Number 8, sometimes people responded slowly. And finally, number 9, church planting was a central part of the apostles' evangelistic strategy. So there were my 9 observations, and if you read through the book of Acts, you'll see plenty of examples of each of those principles. But I just want to make 10 personal observations now about evangelism, things I've spotted really over the years. Number 1, that effective evangelism is not just about a combination of boldness and love, although those 2 qualities are very important. There's a third very important quality when it comes to evangelism, and it's just perseverance. It's just keeping going. Sometimes it just takes ages to see people come through to saving faith. Secondly, it doesn't always make sense why things go well or not well evangelistically. Sometimes it is just inexplicable, and I think the fact that evangelism is sometimes compared to fishing in the New Testament is quite helpful. Sometimes we can overanalyze effective evangelism. Thirdly, recognizing that evangelism is kind of a doorway to all the other gifts, which is why the local church is so key. You need to have all the bits of a church working well for people to come all the way through and kind of stay. And evangelism is a bit like the edge of the thin end of a wedge, but a very important one. Number 4, we live in a culture where we have to create evangelistic opportunities. We don't live in a culture where we have massive demand for what we have to do, or people wanting to listen to what we have to say. To reach people with the gospel, we have to kind of actually create the moment, create the opportunity. Number 5, and this has been said for quite a while, but it's just a reminder really, that process is still really important when it comes to evangelism. Realistically, most people come to faith through lots of mini decisions, not one significant moment, although that can happen. And then my 6th point is mildly controversial, but realistically, our churches are going to have quite a few people in them who may profess to be believers and may even be members of our churches, but are probably not born again, or probably not spirit baptized, and it's actually very hard to tell the difference. And so we do have a mission field on our door. There are people in your church who you think are saved, but maybe they're not. And actually, we should remember that in revivals, they often happen when somebody everyone thinks is a Christian becomes a Christian, and it kind of shatters everyone's categories. Number 7, celebrate success stories. We need to kind of starve the cancer of discouragement from having oxygen. And one of the ways that we can starve it is by just sharing success stories, and don't be ashamed of repeating the same ones. Just keep reminding people that Jesus still changes lives, that heaven rejoices over one sinner who repents, so we can. Number 8, in our kind of towns, as in places where we don't have universities, young people and young families are going to be very strategic to target for any kind of evangelism, because they're at those kind of change moments in their lives where they're making new friends, and therefore we can get in their lives. Number 9, the hotter you are, the hotter your people will be. By that I mean like your evangelistic temperature can be a bit of a barometer for the evangelistic temperature of the church. So find a way to express your own evangelistic gift. It may be very different to going on the street and talking to people, but you will have a version of it. And number 10, use models properly and persevere. I guess it's a little bit of a bugbear of mine that sometimes people change evangelistic model very quickly. They kind of get frustrated that they're not seeing tons of people saved, and so they keep changing. But realistically, models have a lot of inherent wisdom in them, and we really need to do them properly and persevere with them before we chuck them out and keep changing. The more we do it properly, the more we repeat doing it, the more we get wiser as well at how to do the model well. So there we are, 10 principles about observations about evangelism from the book of Acts, and 10 of my personal observations over the years about evangelism. Hope they're helpful.